this journey kind of started a few trucks before this previous one. In 2017, I was able to buy my first Tacoma. It was a 98 with a regular cab, very nimble, and built a platform, and partner and I were able to fit out the back and make some curtains and kind of get by with what we had and go on a really lovely mountain bike adventure. And I kind of opened up the whole truck camping world. I then ended up with a 2001, which was absolutely my favorite truck. And growing up in the Northeast, it's really tough to fight the rust battle. And that's actually how I ended up with this. I still heartfully believe the Gen 1 is the superior piece of equipment, not only in size and nimbleness, but its mechanical simplicity. So far though, Fonza has not let me down at all. We've got 90,000 miles and there hasn't been a single hiccup with anything. I do appreciate the space that I have. It's a little bit larger than Gen 1. I can fit a lot of gear in here, and I've asked a lot from it. And I guess all things considering, you know, if I drive like a grandpa, I can get 19 in some circumstances with all this gear on here, which I think is really good. Off-roading or getting, you know, a little spirited, that MPG drops tremendously, and so, you know, all of a sudden you'll be looking at 12, which everyone knows. So that's kind of the biggest thing, I think, is just to get out there and try and learn by doing. And this has been a process. This is 3 years of a build, and being also fairly majority of my focus as a passion project during mountain time. The other thing is to not get caught up in the Joneses just do things in an order that saves you some work. So, you know, yeah, it would look really cool with big bumpers on them, but for the most part, they're going to add a bunch of weight and reduce your fuel economy. So then do that. I got some scuffs on the bumpers. Someday, I'll swap them out. But for right now, that's fine. Other things, like I needed a little bit more capacity. I envisioned that. And then I'm not an aerodynamicist, but I like to think that the slow step thing I have kind of helps, because putting the capper and all the stuff on here kind of turns the truck more and more into a big brick, which is tough to push through the air. And I guess the other bit I would say is, yeah, just check out all the researchers, do your research. There are a lot of builds out there. There are a lot of people that have already solved these problems, and you can go around and kind of cherry pick those to the best of your advantage. Things I would do differently in that regard is I really enjoy sliding out the drawer, but when those drawer slides arrived, the weight of the package alone, I was like, this is kind of silly. So that's a lot of weight for convenience, and I think there's some possibilities to do the same thing or achieve the same result with rollers. So that also brings me to the weight part. The gas tank is on the driver's side. I put my batteries on the right side. I put my fridge on the right side. This large water tank that's in the cab is centered and low in the vehicle. It's keeping the mass down low. So do your best to think about weight when you're adding things. A lot of people put showers and all this stuff up high, and now you've added a bunch of weight that's going to kind of shift and settle and swing around a little bit unpredictably. And so just try and take that into account. You want to, the engineers, there's a whole team of engineers and actually like generations of engineers at Toyota or wherever your vehicle is made that have done a lot more thinking that you have, and try not to mess up their work too much. So then the other bit in terms of weight. It's just one thing I'm looking forward to is at some point I'll switch those AGM batteries to lithium. And doing the calculation there, it's like there's 100 pounds out of the vehicle right there. So that will pay dividends as well. And I also can't hammer enough on the tires. So many people want to put big, huge tires on here. And yes, you do gain an advantage, but check out, there's a lot of good resources online that'll talk about tire size and the performance drop and such when it comes to your fuel economy, your acceleration, your braking, all these bits. With this size tire, which I said is about 32 inches. I've done 4s and 5 level trails out here in Moab. I've driven all the way down Baja. I've driven around the Sierras. I've off-roaded in Colorado, etc. Pretty much can go anywhere in North America with this size tire. Anything other than that, you need a custom vehicle. So don't confuse the purpose of your vehicle. For me, the reason I don't have a van is because I like to come to remote places like this where I can find some peace and really enjoy nature for what it is. And so that's the only reason I have a truck and, the ability to carry a few more things and have that the low range capability. But if you're pretty much just going to, campgrounds and such, then, you don't even need a truck. Or you can get away with 2-wheel drive probably for the most part. So it's just humbling to go out there and you see what other people are running, and then you realize that maybe what you need is not exactly what your dreams and your expectations had cooked it up to be. So to conclude, this is a passion of mine, a builder, to think about how to use spaces more efficiently and such. If you would like any assistance, research, help with your build, maybe you even have a creative project and you'd like someone to kind of guide you through on that, reach out. I'd be happy to lend my assistance where I can. And yeah, all the best to you, and go out there and explore. That's what we're here to do. Life's meant to be lived. So thank you.